All right, so we're going to continue talking about ratios and proportions, and we're continuing to work on our problem in comparing and scaling with the chimpanzees. And question one, we've got Darla and Lamar, who are comparing the amount of high-fiber nuggets to the total amount of food mix for young adult chimps. Darla says high-fiber nuggets for young adult chimps. That's why we got this arrow here, because we're talking about the young adults, okay? And Darla says high-fiber nuggets are 3/2 of the total. Huh? Whereas Lamar says high-fiber nuggets are 3/5 of the total. Interesting. Who is correct? Explain yourself. What do you think, Leah?
I said that Darla is correct because 6 to 4 can be simplified to 3 to 2 if you divide each question.
6 to 4 can be simplified to 3 to 2? Agree, disagree?
Agree.
Disagree.
Disagree. Go ahead. Go ahead, Hannah.
Well, I said it was 6/10, which equals 3/5 because 6 plus 4 equals 10, and the fiber was 6, so that would equal 3/5.
Okay. So why'd you come up with 10?
6 plus 4 equals 10.
So why'd you do that? Why'd you add the 6 and the 4?
Because it says total amount of food mix for young adult chips. Yeah.
Total. So it's almost like you need a third column here that says total. And just to kind of put this info in here, for the baby chimps, if you have 2 cups of high fiber, 3 cups of high protein, if you're making one batch of that, you have 5 cups of mix, right? For the young adults, you get 6 cups of high fiber, 4 cups of protein, so you have 10 cups of mix. And older guys, older chimps, me, I'm in this group, 4 cups of high fiber, 2 cups of high protein for 6. So Hannah says, I don't know, I'm looking at this 6 to 10. And so that's for question C1. She's comparing 6 to 10, whereas Leah was comparing 6 to 4. Now, anybody see what I wrote at the top there? Another way ratios are like fractions. You are probably all used to right now when you answer questions that have fractions in, or you probably did this in 6th grade. When you come up with your answer, what's the one thing you're supposed to try to do at all times? Simplify, man, simplify, right? So make it as simplified of an answer as possible. And that's another way that ratios are just like fractions. You could take a ratio of 6 to 4, and you can represent that as 3 to 2. So 3 to 2 is a way to represent a 6 to 4 ratio, but is that really what this question is asking? No. This first question is asking, she wants to compare the amount of high fiber nuggets to the total amount of food. So it's not 6 to 4, right? It's 6 to 10. And 6 to 10 can be reduced to what? 3 to 5. So it looks like Darla's going to owe Lamar lunch or something, because Lamar would appear to be in the right.
Woo! Look who told you, Tyler. Yes! It was this woman. I always win. Let me tell. I told you were just like, no, it's Diane.
Here we go. Question C2. Now, listen to the questions. What fraction of the total amount of food mix for older chimps is high fiber nuggets? What fraction? So now we're talking about the older chimps. And it says what fraction? What type of comparison is a fraction? Nora?
The fraction was 4 to 6, I said.
4 to 6. Okay, right. Right. You're giving me the numbers, but I just wanted to try to trigger that memory about fractions are ratios, I should say, are part-to-part comparisons. Remember the very first handout I gave, it said ratios are part-to-part comparisons, fractions are part-to-whole comparisons. So once again, you need this piece. You need the whole, okay? So when you're asked what fraction of the total amount of food mix for older chimps, so you're in this category, is high fiber, your fraction is 4 out of 6, which of course can be reduced again if you divide both top and bottom by 2. you get 2/3. Okay? So let's try question C3. Here we go. Suppose the ratio of male chimps to female chimps in a zoo is 5:4. So it's the ratio. It's a ratio of male to female. And it's in a 5:4 ratio. Question says, suppose the ratio is 5:4. What fraction of the chimps are male? Key word there being what? Fraction. So what fraction of those chimps would be male? Francisco.
5 out of 9.
5 out of 9. So the fraction male would be 5 out of 9. All right, question that's not there. What fraction would be female? Karaima, what fraction would be female? 4 out of 9, right. Yeah. Because the fraction for the male plus the fraction for the female has to add up to the whole, or 1. 5 ninths plus 4 ninths, 9 ninths. So there you go. All right, here we go. Question 4. Suppose 2/3 of the chimps in a zoo are female. Find the ratio of female chimps to male chimps. So for C4, we know that the fraction of female is 2/3. What's the ratio of, what is it, male to female? Female to male. So what's the ratio of female to male? So if the fraction of the chimps in a zoo that are female is 2/3, Stephen, what's the ratio of female to male chimps?
It's gonna be 4 to 9.
4 to 9. Why'd you say that?
Cause, well, wait. Oh, cause there's 4 female chimps, and 5 plus 4 is 9. I don't really know.
It's a great try, Stephen.
I don't know either.
Let's move right along. Good try, Stephen. Really appreciate your effort there. Bryce, how about you?
I got 2 to 1.
2 to 1. How did you get that, Bryce?
Since 2/3 of the chimps in a zoo are female, then that means 2/3 are, 1/3 is male. So 2 to 1 is equal to.
Right? 2 to 1, female to male. So there's 2 females and 1 male. 2 females and 1 male make up 3 chimps in total. So the fraction that are female are 2/3, but the ratio of female to male is only 2 to 1.